Picture this. You're walking down the aisle of your local gardening store, looking for some fertilizer. You're faced with this huge row of different chemical bags, and you've got to make a choice. You see ammonia, ammonium nitrate, and urea. Now, they all contain nitrogen, right? And that's the active ingredient you actually care about to make your plants grow. But how do you know which bag gives you the absolute most nitrogen for your hard-earned money? Well, it's not just about the total weight of the bag. It's actually about how much of that specific active ingredient is locked inside the chemical compound itself. This is a very real-world economic problem, and solving it means we need to master a foundational concept in chemistry. So, by the end of this lecture, you're going to understand exactly what percent composition is, the core mathematical formula behind it, and how to actually calculate it, using both experimental data from a lab and straight-up chemical formulas. Here is our quick roadmap for today. 1. What is percent composition? 2. Calculating it from experimental mass. 3. Using the chemical formula. 4. A real-world application with aspirin. 5. Working backwards using hemoglobin. And 6, our summary and next steps. Okay, section 1, what is percent composition? Let's dive right into this core concept. The formal definition here is that percent composition is the percentage by mass of each element present in a compound. And I really want to emphasize that word right there, mass. That is absolutely crucial. We aren't just counting the number of atoms floating around, we are measuring the actual physical weight, the mass, that each individual element contributes to the whole entire compound. You can kind of think of a chemical formula like a baking recipe, right? If you're baking a cake, your recipe calls for flour, sugar, and eggs. But to know exactly how much of the cake's total physical weight comes from just the sugar, you need to calculate its percentage by mass. Percent composition does exactly this for chemical compounds. It tells us the precise percentage by mass of each ingredient or element in the mix. So how do we actually calculate this thing? Well, the mathematical formula is wonderfully simple. To find the percentage of an element, let's just call it element X, you take the mass of element X, divide it by the total mass of the entire compound, and then multiply by 100. And, multiplying by 100 is literally just what converts our decimal into a neat, easily readable percentage. Keep this equation in the back of your mind because it's the engine powering everything we're about to do. Section 2, calculating from experimental mass. Now that we've got the basic idea down, let's see how we pull this off using actual lab data. Imagine you're standing in the lab and you're analyzing a 10-gram sample of some mystery gas. Your instruments tell you this 10-gram sample contains exactly 2.5 grams of hydrogen and 7.5 grams of carbon. How do we find the percent composition? Okay, step 1, take the mass of your element. Let's start with hydrogen at 2.5 grams. Step 2, take the total mass of the compound, which is 10 grams. Step 3, divide that 2.5 by 10, giving you 0.25. And step 4, multiply by 100. Boom, that gives us 25% hydrogen. Do the exact same thing for the carbon. 7.5 divided by 10 times 100 equals 75% carbon. It really is that straightforward. Let's pause for a quick test to make sure you're actively following along with the math here. Feel free to grab a calculator or just map out the steps mentally. Let's say a 24.81 gram gaseous compound contains 3.01 grams of carbon, 4.00 grams of oxygen, and 17.81 grams of chlorine. Think about it. How would you find the percent composition for each of those three elements? Okay, and here are your results. You should get 12.1% carbon, 16.1% oxygen, and 71.8% chlorine. Now, you might be asking, why do we divide by the total mass every single time? Well, the reason is that a percentage literally just means a part of the whole. The total mass of our sample, that 24.81 grams, represents the complete 100% whole. By dividing the individual part by that whole, we find out exactly what fraction belongs to each specific element. Make sense? Moving on to section 3 using the chemical formula, let's transition to a scenario where, we don't have experimental lab data sitting right in front of us, but we do have the chemical formula itself. When we're evaluating experimental mass, we use the physical gram weights provided by our lab instruments. But when evaluating a chemical formula, we use the atomic or molar masses found directly on the periodic table. To do this, we simply assume we have exactly 1 mole of the compound. So instead of some random physical sample weight, our total mass just becomes the compound's molar mass. And our element mass becomes the molar mass of that specific element. It's the exact same logic we just practiced. We're just scaling it up to 1 full mole of molecules. But wait, this is super important. Before we do an example, I need to put my teacher hat on for a second and point out a few really common mistakes students make on exams. First off, always check your subscripts in the chemical formula. If you have H2O, you don't just have one hydrogen, you have two. Because of that, here's the second critical rule. You absolutely must multiply the element's molar mass by that subscript number before you divide by the total mass. And finally, as a quick self-check, ensure your final percentages add up to exactly 100%, or at least very close, like 99.9%, depending on how you rounded. If they don't add up, hit the brakes, because you need to recalculate. Section 4. Real-world application with aspirin. Let's make this a bit more concrete with a common medicine you probably have in your bathroom cabinet right now. Aspirin. Its molecular formula is C9H8O4. Let's see how we apply those rules directly to aspirin. Again, it's C9H8O4. We assume we have 1 mole of aspirin. Let's look at carbon first. There are 9 moles of carbon. So we take 9, multiply it by carbon's molar mass from the periodic table, which is 12.11 grams per mole, and we get about 108 grams. Then we divide that by the total molar mass of the entire aspirin molecule, which is 180.16 grams per mole, multiplied by 100, and we get 60.002%. We just repeat that exact same process for the 8 hydrogens and the 4 oxygens. And this brilliantly illustrates our final recipe. Visually, you can see that aspirin is overwhelmingly carbon by mass at roughly 60%, followed by oxygen at 35.5%, and just a tiny sliver of hydrogen there at 4.5%. Notice how neatly those slices combine. They perfectly sum up to 100%, completing the compound's recipe and confirming that, yeah, our math is rock solid. So the crucial point here is that only the chemical formula gives us the pathway to go from a bulk amount of molecules down to individual elements. If you're asked to find the percent by mass of hydrogen in a 5-gram sample of water, you can't just guess. You have to map it out step by step. Convert the grams of water into moles of water using molar mass. Then use the chemical formula, H2O, to see that 1 mole of water contains 2 moles of hydrogen. Finally, convert those moles of hydrogen back into grams of hydrogen. It's a beautiful, logical pathway that reveals the hidden structure of the entire compound. Section 5, working backwards with hemoglobin. Let's move on and see how this builds into a slightly more advanced application, where we actually already have the percentage, and we need to work backwards. Check out this complex physiological example. Hemoglobin, the vital protein carrying oxygen in your blood right now, contains 0.33% iron by mass. Its total molar mass is huge, 68,000 grams per mole. The question is, how many grams of iron are in just 0.020 moles of hemoglobin? The secret here is understanding what that percentage actually means in plain English. 0.33% simply means there are 0.33 grams of iron inside every 100 grams of hemoglobin. Here's the exact pathway to solve it. First, we start with what we know, 0.020 moles of hemoglobin. We convert that into the total mass of hemoglobin using its massive molar mass. Then, we use our percent composition as a really powerful mathematical conversion factor. We multiply our total mass by 0.33 grams of iron over 100 grams of hemoglobin. The units cancel out beautifully, leaving us with exactly 4.5 grams of iron. This proves that percent composition isn't just a fun trivia fact, it's an incredibly useful tool for extracting specific, vital data from bulk physical samples. Section 6, Summary and Next Steps. Before we wrap up this explainer, let's summarize the big ideas we've covered today. Here are your key takeaways. Percent composition is exactly what it sounds like. It's the percentage by mass of each distinct element present in a compound. We can derive this mathematical recipe in 2 different ways, either from physical experimental mass data gathered in a lab or directly from the chemical formula using molar masses from the periodic table. And most importantly, this is absolutely essential for evaluating real-world materials, whether you're trying to find the most efficient nitrogen fertilizer for your garden or you're trying to understand the exact elemental makeup of the medicines we take. But, this leaves us with a really fascinating reverse engineering problem. If percent composition tells us the recipe by mass, how do you determine an entirely unknown molecular formula from just these percentages? If a lab hands you nothing but a list of percentages, how do you mathematically construct the true chemical formula from scratch? Well, that is exactly what we're going to be covering in our next explainer on determining empirical formulas. It is a vital puzzle in chemistry, and you definitely won't want to miss it. Thank you so much for focusing in with me today, and I'll